So today we're going to be doing some rust removal on parts for the South Bend 9-inch lathe. I removed all of the change gears which were in place. Now those change gears were set up for the slowest longitudinal feed, not for threading. So they were pretty grunged up with oil and gunk and stuff, so I give them a wash in some strong detergent. I'm still going to put them in the ultrasonic. I wanted to get the heaviest stuff off before I put it in the ultrasonic. And then I was going to go at this rusty set of change gears that came with the lathe. Now in the past I've used Evapo-Rust and this product, Metal Rescue, which works very similar to Evapo-Rust. Thing is, in recent times this stuff has gotten really expensive, so I found a DIY recipe that works just as well, and I'm going to share that with you now. Okay, so the ingredients for this concoction, we're going to start with dry powdered citric acid, some sodium hydroxide in granulated form. The first ingredient, of course, is water. In this case, we're making up 1 US gallon, or 3.8 liters, 4 liters, we'll call it 4 liters. And also a little bit of dish soap, just a dash. So, now the order that you combine these ingredients is somewhat important. One thing you definitely don't want to do is add water to sodium hydroxide. You will get a reaction that you don't want. And before you work with any of this stuff, you definitely need to have your safety glasses on. And okay, so we'll start by adding the water to our container. And then we will measure out our other ingredients. Okay, so our first ingredient is 400 grams of citric acid. So we'll put a container on the gram scale and start it up. That way it'll tare to 0. And we will, if I get the bag open here. Hope we got 400 grams. I think we do. Might take most of what we got here. Yeah. It's 274. $394. Okay, we're pretty darn close. 400 grams. All right. All right, so I've gotten the lumps and clumps out of that. So we will add the citric acid to the water and give it a stir. You can't see it because it's off camera, but that's okay. You can use your imaginations. Stir it up to dissolve it. And then we will measure out our sodium hydroxide, which is also known as lye. And it's nasty stuff if you don't handle it right, so be very careful. Eye protection, and as I'll repeat, you always add the sodium hydroxide to water, never add water to sodium hydroxide. If you don't believe me and you want to go ahead and try it, make sure you got lots of PPP on and do it somewhere where you can contain the reaction, because there will be a reaction. All right, so 120 grams of sodium hydroxide. sneak up on it slowly here so we don't get, oops, 120. Just as I'm saying that, I do go over 123. That's close enough. Alright, so we'll add the sodium hydroxide to the water. Slowly, a little bit at a time. With the citric acid in there, you won't see much of a reaction because basically they neutralize each other. But if you hear that, you can hear it kind of starting to boil and bubble. But if you just added it to straight water without the citric acid, there would still be more of a reaction. But it settles down pretty quickly. You want to make sure that you get everything dissolved. And then to that, we add just a squirt of dish detergent. I don't know if the amount really matters that much. Didn't get a whole lot in there. I think I'm going to put a little bit more. But I think you can overdo it too. Alright, so we've got all the granules are dissolved. Alright, I've decanted about half of it into a jug because I don't need the full 4 liters for this, but I'm going to start with, I'm working on a bicycle right now, doing a tear down and overhaul on it, and it's got a lot of rusty fasteners here, so I'm going to toss those in. And then I've got this assortment of taps and drills and just stuff that came in this box that came with the lathe. Oh, there's a little reamer there. Well, that's pretty cool. I don't know if that's a straight fluted or a taper. Almost looks like it's got a bit of a taper. Anyway, I'll toss him in there. And these aren't too heavily rusted, so we'll come back and check in on these after a couple of hours and see what we got. And then we'll do the gears later. Here's a wood boring bit. Okay, see you in a couple hours. Alright, it's been a few hours now actually. I was only going to leave it a couple, but it's been more like 3 hours. So we'll see how we're looking here. If we have any results to show. Right, first we'll take the wood boring bit and rinse it, brush it off. And yeah, the rust appears to be gone. Yeah, so from these taps and drills and things, the rust is pretty much gone. Alright, so I'm going to finish that up, and then I'm going to throw those gears in, and I'm going to leave those in overnight. We've got the change gears in the bath. Those will stay in overnight. We'll see how they turn out tomorrow. Alright, so these change gears have been in the rust bath solution overnight. So we'll see if we got any results. Alright, so here, ooh, that's looking pretty good. Yeah, the rust is pretty much gone. Just as good as the results I used to get from evapo rust, for sure. and at about a third or a quarter of the cost. Good results from a cheap homebrew rust bath. So I'm happy with those results, and yeah, so on to the next part of the project, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.